guys, welcome to Beware the Awakening. Today we have for you a new deck called Prank Incubator, featuring a new Spinda from Paradox Rift with the Tangle Feet ability, flipping a coin if this Pokemon is confused and is damaged by an attack, preventing that damage if you get a heads. So we're playing this card with our Blissey from SV1 with the Busybody Nurse ability, recovering our active Pokemon from all special conditions once during our turn. We also have our Peonia and Chansey from 151 with the Lucky Bonus ability, benching this Pokemon if we draw it from the prize, and flipping a coin for the extra prize. We even have our Snorlax to do Thumping Snore, one Radiant Jirachi for Astral Misfortune and also the free search, one Slowbro from Pokemon Go to do Twilight Inspiration, and one Farfetch'd for the finishing blow with League Lash. We can also attack with Blissey for 150 damage with Happy Cyclone, moving all energies from this Pokemon onto one of our bench. To help us attach the energy and also for the draw support, we're playing the new Xatu with the Clairvoyant Sense ability, with one Fog Crystal and one Earthen Vessel to search for our 9 basic psychic energies. We've even got one Energy Retrieval and 2 Klara to make sure we get to play its ability every single turn, one Counter Catcher and one Boss for our power play, our regular trainers for the setup and draw power, with one Manaphy for the bench barrier. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay and see how well this deck works. Okay, let's go for our first game with Prank Incubator. We're playing the Prankster, Spinda, spinning the wheel, or flipping the coins, with Chansey Blissey, Lucky Bonus, and Busybody Nurse. For special conditions recovery, so that we get to keep confusing and attacking at the same time. To activate his ability, we also got Lucky Bonus to basically flip a coin while benching the next Chansey for us to get an extra prize, the potential extra prize condition. But we do actually need to bench the Chansey early, so that we get to evolve the first one and keep on recovering. We have to keep healing. If we get ahead with the ability, we should be healing to attack with the same Spinda. We're not doing a lot of damage, but eventually though, we can knock out, finish off their active Pokemon or any of their injured Pokemon on the bench. If they retreat and attack with a new one, we get to play Counter Catcher, Boss, while attacking with the next Spinda, or a Snorlax Farfetch'd to collect the knockout. So it's basically a colorless box featuring the new Spinda. We're up against Roaring Moon with Weezing from 151. So Weezing is very tricky just because if we knock it out, they might be able to get the extra prize with the ability, just because Spinda's ability doesn't prevent effects of attacks, it doesn't prevent effects of abilities, it only prevents damage from attack. So if they get ahead with Weezing's ability, we don't actually get to deny them the special knockout. So now we are playing Xatu's ability for double draw, and we just need one more energy in the active for the retreat. Unfortunately, we are gonna have to sacrifice either the double turbo or the basic psychic. Eventually we decided to play 2 jet energy in the list just because we ended up having to switch and retreat a lot of times. They keep trapping us with the boss as well, so eventually I decided, you know what, let's just play jet energy to replace the double turbo. We don't need that many double turbos since we are playing 3 Xatu. So if we attach 1 energy on our first turn onto the bench Spinda or a bench Snorlax, whatever, we can even start off with the Radiant Jirachi, right? Now that we have Radiant Jirachi in the list. For this game though, we don't actually have Radiant Jirachi, we have no jet energy. We decided to play 4 copies of Double Turbo with an Energy Lotto to make sure we get to search for it easily. So this is a very different sort of gameplay as opposed to the one we have in the final list. The final upgrade is obviously the better one, so if you want to test out for yourself, you can try the one with 4 Double Turbos, but I prefer having a switch option, right? If we get the jet energy early, you get to basically save yourself the discard, because retreating forces you to discard the energy. We're only playing 1 escape rope for this game. Eventually we decided to replace the escape rope with a Counter Catcher for the extra power play, and also changing the double turbo into jet energy as we said for the switch option, so that we get to save on our energy and attach and draw constantly with Xatu's ability, because if you don't keep attaching energies, you can't actually draw cards with your Xatu. So it's a very difficult energy It's a very difficult draw engine of sorts, just because if you don't keep retrieving your energy, if you don't keep searching for energy, you can't actually search for the right cards. You're only drawing 2 cards as well, kind of like Kirlia's Refinement. So make sure you evolve 2 Xatus in play. If you only have 1 in play, I think you can still get by the game because we got a lot of supporter cards. We got 4 Ionos now, and 1 Rika, 1 Chorus. So for this game, we even have Kangaskhan EX, but eventually we decided to swap it out for another 1 price card. Snorlax for 180 damage is way better than Kangaskhan, just because if you get 3 tails, you're doing only 80 damage. There's just no point playing a EX, a 2-prizer, just to do 80 damage. Is just unbelievable, right? The amount of tails you get with Kangaskhan sometimes is just ridiculous. Normally you would get 2 heads though with the attack for 180 damage if you play double turbo. 180 is not bad, but still, why not play a Snorlax? Because it's doing exactly the same amount of damage for the same number of energies, and you don't have to flip coins for it. You don't have to flip coins, and it does go to sleep, but we have Blissey to recover from the sleep condition on the next turn if they choose not to knock out the Snorlax. If they play like bench snipe or damage counter placement on our bench while ignoring the Snorlax in the active, we get to recover from the special condition with Busybody Nurse using Blissey's ability. So there's no worries right there. Snorlax is good to go, it's all fine. It's good to attack on the next turn if they choose to ignore the Pokemon, our active. If they boss something else, it recovers from the sleep condition anyways. So there's that. Oh, they just saved our hand with an Iono. We were about to play triple draw, because Kangaskhan can actually help you draw cards if you get stuck. It's not good though, just because we are wasting 1 turn, not doing any damage. You would think an EX has an attack that does damage while drawing cards, like Spike Draw, Spike Punch, something that does 30 damage at least, and draw 3 cards for 1 energy. Like, come on, it's an EX, why is it only drawing 3 cards? Why isn't it doing 30 damage, 20 damage at least? We have a 1 price basic doing Spike Draw for 20 damage, drawing 2 cards. Wouldn't it make sense for an EX to have a 30 damage attack for 1 energy, drawing 3 cards? Hello? Why is an EX so weak? Xatu. We get to attach and draw every single turn. Isn't Xatu just amazing? The only problem with this card is if they play Iono at the last minute. Like, that's the reason why we have Radiant Jirachi. It still doesn't guarantee you the free search though, just because they could actually avoid your ability. They could deny you the ability with Path to the Peak. They could play Boss, Escape Rope to avoid the Jirachi, avoid taking out your Jirachi. So you do have to be conscious of that. But if they keep avoiding it, if they if they keep playing a boss on your bench to knock out your other Pokemon, you at least get to play Astro Misfortune over and over until you get the double heads for the free kill. So that's the fun thing about Radiant Jirachi. If they keep avoiding or procrastinating the knockout, you get to basically flip more coins. It gives you a better odds of doing that free KO with your Astral Misfortune, right? And if they're not careful, if they play like a Mew VMAX, you can Astral Misfortune for 3 prize. How crazy is that? Mew VMAX actually destroys this deck though. We actually added a Drapion V at some point while building this deck, but I decided not to, just because Mew VMAX is not a big thing now. But if they play Mew VMAX, they got Max Miracle to basically destroy your Spinda. Spinda's ability does not work at all, just because the Max Miracle ignores all effects of attacks, and that means your ability doesn't work, your tool card doesn't work, Panic Mask, everything doesn't work. They get to ignore everything. How crazy is that? And they even have the Fusion Strike energy to ignore effects of abilities, like Vanillux. Vanillux actually blocks Mew VMAX from attacking if it has 40 or less HP remaining, and that means they can't play Psychic Leap, they can't play Max Miracle to attack, they cannot attack at all, they can't do anything. Unless if they have a Fusion Strike energy attached, and that means they get to ignore Vanilux's ability, allowing them to attack once more. How crazy is that? Anyways, here comes Roaring Moon doing Calamity Storm or Frenzied Gouging. They're probably going to do Calamity Storm because 100 damage is actually enough to take out Spinda if they get a heads. Sorry, if we get a tails. Because we are actually flipping the coin for Spinda's ability. If we get a heads, we get to prevent all damage done to Spinda while it's confused. And obviously, to confuse it, we need to play teetering steps every single turn. That's why we have Busybody Nurse to keep on recovering and attacking. We don't want to be flipping the coin for the confusion, so we want to be recovering from confusion every single turn while also confusing it before our opponent's turn, right? That's why, we have to attack. We have to keep on attacking with the Spinda in the active and keep playing Blissey's ability to heal from the confusion. Okay, we're going to play Culver's now for a big draw. We are losting cards though, so we do have to be careful. We need the Slowbro, so we're just gonna get those two and maybe the Mesagoza. Stadium is very important. You have no idea how important Stadium cards are. If they play like Temple of Sinnoh, we can't do double turbo. We can't play Jet Energy's effect. If they play Path to the Peak, we can't use Jirachi's ability. If they play Collapse Stadium, we can't use Chansey's ability. So it's actually, we have to be extra careful against Stadium cards. Do not underestimate the power of Stadium and Tools. That's the reason so many decks have lost Vacuums now. And Worker, those two cards are actually pretty powerful. Lost Vacuum actually helps you remove the capsule from Roaring Moon. And that means you just need like 40 damage to knock it out. If they played Frenzied Gouging on your Charizard EX, on your Meowscarada, whatever that you're playing, if they played Frenzied Gouging on the last turn, that means you just need 40 damage with the Lost Vacuum to take out the Roaring Moon. That's the bad thing about Roaring, is that they are doing a lot of recoil. There's a lot of recoil damage that they are playing. If they play Emergency Jelly though, I feel like Jelly is sort of better than the Capsule just because you discard the tool card on your own and that means Lost Vacuum doesn't work. Right? Emergency Jelly kind of works better than the new Booster Capsule. In a way. The Ancient Booster Energy Capsule works with Brood Bonnet though, just because you get to ignore the poison effect on your own Pokemon when you play Brood Bonnet's ability. It also protects you from your opponent's poison or confusion effect like Venomoth. You can't be confused. With they still get to lock your item cards though, right? Because that's an effect on the player, obviously. So we actually got trapped after playing Happiness Cyclone on the last turn. They don't have the knockout with Calamity Storm, allowing us to attack a second time with a Jet Energy. If we have that in the list, we would have been able to swap out the Blissey into another Spinda to attack again. But unfortunately, for this game, we don't have any Jet Energy. We only have that one escape rope, as I mentioned. So that's why we're getting stuck. So the more games you play with the same deck, the more you refine it and make it more consistent, make it more viable against multiple matchups, make it more versatile as well. Anyways, back to the game. Now they're gonna do Wheezing. They're gonna play the Fumes to spread 10 damage on the bench because we have no Manaphy on the bench. I don't think we need the Manaphy though, just because it's only 10 damage, and we do have to watch out for its ability though. Like if we kill the Wheezing and they get the extra prize, we're done for. So that's why eventually I added a counter catcher into the list, just because that helps you avoid the Wheezing, right? If we play the escape rope as well, it will help. But counter catcher is way better than escape rope in my opinion. We do have to wait for the prize counter though. So now we have 3 prize remaining, which is the same as our opponent. We have to wait until they do an extra knockout before we can play the counter catcher. If we had that card, if we are actually playing that card for this game, we could actually avoid Wheezing's ability to give them the free knockout by pulling out a Manaphy or 𝑷𝑗𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑳, whatever, into the active spot and knocking it out with our Happiness Cyclone. Right, we can even play double turbo on Happiness Cyclone on Blissey to knock out the 𝑷𝑗𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑳. If they don't have Manaphy on the bench, we can still take out 𝑷𝑗𝑚𝑪𝑮𝑳 for the extra 1 prize, because that's all we need, right? Since we have Slowbro to do Twilight Inspiration after that, for the last two prize. So now we're not getting the Slowpoke. How do we bench the Slowpoke? They actually did a boss on the Xatu, and now they're getting the fast prize with the weakness knockout. 100 damage on the Xatu, unfortunately. So this is the moment where ideally we would have either the counter catcher or boss in our hand to target the Manaphy or some other one prizer on the bench. Take it out with our Spinda or Blissey. We don't have the Blissey in play though. We don't have our Blissey evolved yet though. All thanks to Iono. So eventually we did add a lot more energies into the deck. I think we had only 7 basic. Now we have 9 basic psychic with like an energy retrieval, 2 Klaras, no more rod. We do have also Earthen Vessel and Fog Crystal to search for the energies. So there is no way that we're not getting our energies anymore. There's no way that we're not able to draw cards, that we're getting stuck. Because we have added a lot more energies than we used to have. This is one of the old games that from the very first few builds. The very first few original builds of the deck. Before we upgraded to the final list. So that's why we're getting stuck. We did play Klara, and now we need the Slowbro. How do we get the Slowbro? How do we bench the Slowpoke at the right time? If they get ahead with the ability, we're done. That's the first time they're flipping a coin though. Let's hope they get a tails. Because they only flip the coin one time. We are flipping the coin a lot of times with Aroma, Mesagoza, with Spinda's ability. We don't have Radiant Jirachi, but we did flip the coin for this game with Kangaskhan. We flipped so many tails with Kangaskhan earlier. And we also have our lucky bonus Chansey to flip coins as well. I don't think we played a single lucky bonus yet for this game. Unfortunately. Oh well. It's not always possible, right? So we have no choice here. We are kind of cornered into doing the knockout. If we don't, it's over. If we do, we're gonna have to hope for a tails on our opponent. If they get a heads, oh thank God, they got a tails. No extra prize. Okay. We had to bench a Slowpoke on the last turn though. I don't know why we didn't get a Slowpoke. Because Iono being a terrible support, I guess. We don't have enough energies, as we said. If we had the second Xatu, we may be able to pull out the Nest Ball for the Slowpoke. So they actually made a mistake here. They should be attacking with the Roaring Moon. But even if they do, Calamity Storm may not give them the knockout because they are flipping a coin, right? We are flipping a coin and could potentially prevent them from doing any damage to our Spinda. If they don't play a boss escape rope, then they can't actually take another prize on this turn. So they actually chose to put the coughing in the active. I think they wanted to evolve another Wheezing. I think they were trying to force its ability on us a second time. Let's have a blast so that they get the free knockout with Wheezing before actually taking the last prize with Frenzied Gouging, right? But they didn't get the Wheezing, so it's all good. We actually get to kill the coughing for an extra prize this turn. Free knockout. Hey, hey. Free KO. Don't actually need it if we had the Slowpoke on the last turn. Because if they play Frenzied Gouging, they have to watch out for the Blissey, right? Because Blissey can actually knock out the Roaring Moon with 130 damage with the double turbo. If we knock out the Roaring Moon, that's game. That's why they can't play Frenzied Gouging on this turn. They either have to play Calamity Storm and flip the coin, or evolve the coughing. So evolving the coughing I feel like is the best move. Unfortunately for them, they did not get the Wheezing with the Barrel Draw. I don't think they play a supporter card either. So that's why Counter Catcher is so important. We can't go without that card. But here we go. The final prize. We have Slowpoke ready to go. We have our Blissey Spinda still in play. Here comes another coughing, another Wheezing, my bad. Are they going to play Dark Patch, Retreat, Switch, and attack with the Weezing? Or are they just going to play the Roaring Moon and flip the coin? They can even do Frenzied Gouging at this point. What's their next move? Anyone want to take a guess? Collapse Stadium? Frenzied Gouging. Okay. That's game. We don't even need the Blissey. We can actually put Spinda in the active and retreat into the Blissey by searching for energies with the Rod and Chorus. But we decided just to play Slowbro because we have the prize condition for Twilight Inspiration. If your opponent has exactly 1 prize remaining, draw 2 prize with the effect of this attack. How crazy is Slowbro? Pogo Slowbro winning the game for us against Roaring Moon using Spinda and Blissey for a lovely combo. Oh yeah! Another game with Prank Incubator. We got the Egg Pokemon Blissey, the Nurture Pokemon with Spinda, Teetering Steps, and Tangle Feet for a Coin Flip Fiesta. So now we're up against Charizard EX. I think they got Arcanine as well. So let's play Nest Ball for the Chansey. I think we need Natu more than the Chansey. Can bench the Chansey after that, right? It's not that important. The draw support is way more pressing than the recovery, the confusion heal. So we got a heads. Should we get Xatu or Chansey? That's the question. I think we're still playing 4 turbos for this list. We still have 4 turbos. No Jet Energy. Jet Energy only works if you're playing a lot more basic psychics. Eventually we added, like as we said, Earthen Vessel into the list as well, in addition to the Fog Crystal, 9 basic psychic. That's a lot to help us play double Xatu, or we just need 1 Xatu though. If we attach 1 energy on the first turn, we just need 1 Xatu on the next for us to attach 2 energies, 2 more energies on the bench, inclusive of the Jet for us to switch it into the active spot to attack with our bench Spinda. So that's our game plan. Playing Akashic Sense is not the name of the ability. I think they changed it to Clairvoyant Sense. It used to be Akashic Sense though. I feel like that's a better name for Xatu's ability. It sounds way better. Oh well. Clairvoyant will do. So now we're getting a dead hand. Let's hope they play an Iono. I think we have a lot more supporter cards now as well. 4 Ionos. Iono really doesn't help at the last minute though. That's why we have a lot more energies. I keep saying that. I'm repeating myself over and over, I know. But I only repeat the important stuff, right? At least. Okay, no rare candy. We're safe for 1 turn at least. We do have a bench Spinda though. Avery. That reminds me, I have to tell you guys that you should always be saving 1 or 2 bench spot for your Chansey. If you have like 1 or 2 Chansey in the prize, if you have a Peonia in your hand, you should be searching for the Chansey with your Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and put it into the prize so they get to use lucky bonus at some point in the game. After collecting 1 or 2 prize with your Spinda, Snorlax, and Farfetch'd, you should be able to pull out the Chansey into the bench and use his lucky bonus ability to flip the coin for the potential extra prize. But for that to happen though, you need to be able to bench the Chansey from the prize. If you don't have any bench spot remaining, you're forced to put Chansey into your hand without actually activating its ability. You're not allowed to flip the coin, so no extra prize. Lucky bonus doesn't work. So that's why you gotta make sure to have a couple free bench spots before drawing the prize card out after playing Peonia. It's all about timing, isn't it? Chansey is all about timing, because we're not doing knockouts that easily. And then after playing Lucky Bonus, you can play Twilight Inspiration for the last 2 prize. So that's the advantage of this deck. We have Slowbro and Chansey. In addition to the Spinda, Snorlax, Farfetch'd, and Xatu, we have those 2. We even have Radiant Jirachi for the free knockout, for the potential free knockout. You do need 2 heads though, which is not easy, but still, the free search is not bad. Even if you don't get the knockout, at least you get to search for more Spindas, and force your opponent to go through more coin flips. That's why this deck is so flippin' awesome! But anyways, Charizard is coming, but at least we get to do some damage before it evolves, before they get their first prize. But since we are attacking first, we get to confuse the Spinda and force our opponent to go through its ability, right? Basically, make it a lot more frustrating for our opponent to get their prize cards, since they may not be able to get through the coin flip. If we keep getting heads, then they can't do any damage at all on the Spinda, they're not collecting any prize cards, and that means they get stuck. So it's kind of a control deck of sorts, a little bit of control with tiny damage at a time, and then finishing them off with Thumping Snore or Leak Lash. We even have our Blissey to do Happy Cyclone for 150 if we don't use the double turbo. 150 is quite a lot, and we even get to move the energy onto one of our bench. So that prepares our next attacker while allowing us to hit some decent damage with the Blissey. Blissey can attack as well. How interesting. It's a colorless box deck. Nobody ever plays colorless box anymore. Colorless box with Xatu, how about that? There is Lugia box though, with special energies, but we're not playing Archeops today, we're playing Xatu instead. A new card from Scarlet and Violet, Paradox Rift. A new draw support, draw engine, what have you. And now they're gonna do Burning Darkness with the Charizard, Avery. We'll force to discard the Natu, unfortunately. Are we gonna get the heads though? I'm so excited. If we get a Tails, it would be super bad because we got no energy in our hand, no supporter, we're kind of stuck. We need a heads right now. We need a heads so bad this turn. We just need that one extra turn for us to get a Fog Crystal something from the top deck. So maybe Gift Energy would benefit Xatu? Oh, they chose not to attack though. They pass a turn not attacking. I think maybe they're not familiar with Spinda's ability. Maybe they thought Spinda, if it's confused, your opponent is doing 0 damage. No, we only get to prevent the damage if we get a heads. You are flipping the coin though. We do have to flip the coin, unfortunately. But we get the Iono anyway, so even if they get a Tails, even if they do the knockout on the last turn, we get to basically charge up our next Spinda and hopefully get the Escape Rope or Jet Energy, whatever that we have for this game. I'm not actually sure. To put our Spinda in the active, our second Spinda, so we get to attack with another Teetering Steps. Teeter. I'm still waiting for a Spinda card with Dizzy Punch. Like, why isn't there a Spinda with Dizzy Punch in the TCG? Dizzy Punch doing like plus 150 damage with 30 base. If your opponent's active Pokemon is confused, that would be so dope. That would be so interesting. Because we have to confuse them with an ability or something, and then play Dizzy Punch for 2 colorless, hitting 180 damage with a 1 price basic. It's almost like Snorlax, but 2 colorless. 2 colorless if it's confused. That would be very, very fun. A very, very fun 1 price for big damage. A heavy-hitting single prizer. It's definitely coming though. I have a gut feeling they're gonna print a Spinda card at some point in the future with the Dizzy Punch attack. I'm just not sure what the effect is gonna be. Is it gonna be a damage boost, or is it gonna be confusion? Is it gonna be like some funny effect where it confuses both active? I think we've seen the old Spinda confusing both active Pokemons before. Now we're seeing a Spinda doing a self-confusion effect for a potential damage block effect through a coin flip. Marvelous. I love this Pokemon. It's so unique. It's so funny. It's so quirky. I just love Spinda. Who doesn't? The drunk Pokemon. It's so drunk, it can't even walk properly. No driving. Don't let Spinda drive. It's gonna kill someone. They have a jump up for Charizard EX. How interesting. Does 10 more damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. I'm not sure if it actually has much synergy with Charizard EX. Too colorless though. 120 HP. They do have Radiant Charizard as well. So instead of the Rod, we're swapping it for another Klara. We used to have 1 Retrieval, 1 Rod, and 1 Klara. Now we have 1 Retrieval and 2 Klaras. Just because putting it into your hand allows you to play Xatu's ability a lot easier. If you shuffle the energies into your deck, you may not get like a proper supporter card to draw out the energies, right? How do you get the energy into your hand if it is shuffled back into the deck? How do you draw it out after that? Because we only have Fog Crystal, 1 Earthen Vessel, and 4 Ionos with like Colress, Rika for the draw support. We don't actually get to play Iono late game just because we are drawing only 1 or 2 cards if we have 1 or 2 prize remaining. So that's the reason why I say Klara is way better than the Rod. Here comes the boss. So annoying thing about Spinda is that Escape Rope actually counters its ability as well. Because Escape Rope forces you to retreat into the bench, and that means you recover from confusion. Also, they get to hit you on the bench as well, so that's why we have Manaphy. But still, if they play damage counters like Sableye, they can knock you out with Lost Mine with damage counters on the bench. We no longer have Jirachi in the list. You can actually think about adding the new Jirachi from Paradox Rift to counter Lost Box, just because Sableye can use Effect of Attack to take out your Spinda and ignore its ability, because the ability only prevents damage if you flip a heads. We got pretty lucky for this game, getting multiple heads with Tangle Feet, and now we're doing our second knockout against the Charizard EX with Teetering Steps. Oh yeah. Getting 2 prize. No Chansey, that's fine. So now we're gonna go into silent mode and let you guys focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Today we have for you our Blissey Spinda combo with our Busybody Nurse recovering from confusion, so that we get to play Tangled Feet and Teetering Steps every single turn, so that we get to activate its ability, flipping coins each time our opponent does damage to Spinda, preventing all damage done to it if we get ahead. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, people. Enjoy life.